Missing: Breweries and Wineries. Leavenworth Breweries, the early years. During the first half-century of its existence, Leavenworth was the brewing center of Kansas. We had at least 6 breweries operating at the same time in the 1850s, while most other Kansas towns could barely boast of one. Among the reasons, we were the first city in Kansas. We had a large population that included a large number of German and Central European immigrants. We had a good clean water supply and limestone caves to store the beer for fermenting and aging. We had abundance of thirsty travelers and, of course, the soldiers at nearby Fort Leavenworth. We had a very good transportation system. In addition to the steamboats coming and going at our landing, we had a railroad system to carry our goods. Our early entry into supply outfitting helped us move our provisions as far west as our travelers and military would go. During the 1860s, our breweries used 40,000 bushels of barley a year and provided employment for over 50 people. By 1880, the breweries were the 4th largest industry in Kansas. A glass of beer and a newspaper were the same price, 5 cents. The brewmeisters and owners were primarily natives of Germany, a country and people long noted for their brewing abilities and love of beer. Most of our early breweries did not bottle beer as we do today, as the beverage was available by the barrel and bucket. It was reported in the Leavenworth Times, June 28, 1868, that, in former years, the supply of lager was not produced in enough quantity to supply the thirst of our residents. Thousands of dollars had to be expended every year for its importation from other cities, even though the product was inferior to that made here. And I quote, "This has to be remedied. One of our large breweries has already made 6,000 barrels this season and still will produce large quantities. In 6,000 barrels, according to our calculation, there are 2,888,000 glasses of lager. A number of breweries in the city will turn out quantities equal to the one above, which leaves no doubt that our beer-loving friends will be amply supplied with the beverage." The Germans loved their beer and beer gardens. Many were established throughout Kansas. The Turner Hall was a favorite of many Leavenworthians, German or not. H. Miles Moore, one of the early founders of Leavenworth, an early historian as well, described it. "Family and friends listened to sweet-toned violin and lute, sipped foamy nectar of the gods, and then hearts in rapture dwelt as they thanked the great spirit of the past that had guided them on their very way to this land of freedom they loved so well." The expression, "there is no such thing as a free lunch," did not originate in Leavenworth. The 1862-63 City Directory listed 6 eating saloons with free buffets, as long as you purchased a beer to drink with it. Many of the saloons also offered gambling, especially keno, to augment their incomes. The menu at the Saratoga was glowingly advertised. Soup, trout, eggs, sauce, loin of beef, stuffed veal, turkey, ham, tongue, corned beef, beef's heart, baked pork and beans, vegetables of all descriptions, radishes, and coffee free at night lunch. The elaborate spread for about 150 Saratoga customers cost the proprietors $25 to $35. The owners of the Saratoga said that the more they fed, the more they made in the keno room and at their gilded bar. 99 other saloons were listed in this directory as well. Information about the early breweries is sometimes difficult to obtain. This may be due to faulty recollections of early historians, lack of proper record keeping, misspelling, sometimes perhaps related to the confusion deciphering Old German handwriting used by the brewers themselves, or carelessness.